When an ex-mob boss looks straight into the camera and says,
For that. Well, you never know what's going to happen when you wake up in the morning. And today I am being bombarded, I would say, by all the news media because of this latest arrest and scandal.
I've seen this movie before, and it never ends well, you know it's serious. Michael Franzese, one of the most notorious former mobsters in American history, just broke his silence on the NBA gambling scandal that's shaking the league to its core. And if what he's saying is even half true, this might be the biggest sports crime story in decades.
Everybody, but listen, you got to understand with athletes, gambling is an extension of their competitiveness. They raise the stakes when they gamble.
You wake up one morning and the headlines are everywhere. FBI raids, NBA coaches arrested, players detained. The league that sells itself as the pinnacle of professionalism is now being mentioned in the same breath as organized crime. And Michael Franzese, the man who once ran multi-million-dollar gambling operations for the Colombo crime family, says this was inevitable. He's not shocked. He's not surprised. He's seen it all before. Franzese begins calmly, almost like a professor of the underworld. He reminds everyone that for 30 years he's been warning professional leagues and college programs about exactly this.
I'm kind of the go-to guy on this because I've been working with all the pro leagues and the NCAA about gambling and players getting involved in it for 30 years now. As a matter
How gambling and athletes are a volatile mix that always eventually explodes. He says athletes are naturally competitive,
and this is what happens. Many of them get in trouble, whether they be in pros or in college. But it's been happening, and it will continue to happen.
and that same drive that fuels their greatness on the court is what makes them dangerous when they start placing bets. They don't bet small. They don't like to lose. And when they lose, they go looking for someone who can help them win it back. That's where the mob enters the picture.
Now, four of the five New York families were involved in this investigation. It just broke this morning.
Franzese explains that back in his prime, he had more than a dozen bookmakers working for him. Athletes, boxers, even coaches. They all came through his operation. When someone owed money, the rules were simple. You pay or you play for us. And once that line was crossed, there was no going back. You either cooperated or you became a cautionary tale. He points out that four of New York's five mafia families were involved in the latest FBI investigation: the Gambinos, Genovese, Lucchese, and Bonanno crews. The only family not caught up in it? His old one, the Colombos.
And, oddly enough, the Colombos, my former associates, my former family, they weren't involved. So either they were smart and didn't get themselves in trouble, or somehow they're missing the boat. I don't know what it is, but
Maybe they got smart, he laughs, or maybe they're just missing out. But his tone quickly shifts, because to him, this isn't a laughing matter. He dives into the details. Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Damon Jones, all facing federal charges for wire fraud and money laundering. Operation Nothing But Net and Zen Diagram, two coordinated FBI stings that exposed rigged poker games, fixed point spreads, and insider injury betting information. Franzese says this is textbook organized crime. Use the stars to lure the fish. Wealthy marks who think they're just playing a friendly game with NBA legends, when in reality the deck is stacked from the start. He shakes his head when he describes it. Guys like that, they think they're untouchable. But you can't run that kind of scam forever. Someone always talks. Someone always flips. That's how it ends. He says one of the most dangerous developments in this modern era is how easy gambling has become. In his day, you had to go through a bookmaker or make a trip to Vegas. Now, you can lose your savings from your phone while sitting courtside. And when an athlete loses legally, he often tries to win it back illegally. That's when the sharks smell blood. They whisper in his ear, "Don't worry, we'll take care of it." And just like that, a multi-million-dollar career becomes leverage for a criminal network. Franzese even shares examples from his own past, how athletes who owed money were coerced into influencing games. Running backs told to put the ball on the ground. Referees nudged to miss a few calls. Quarterbacks who suddenly threw interceptions that didn't make sense. He says it was never about winning or losing. It was about the spread. That's where the real money was made. And now he warns, with cryptocurrency, encrypted messaging, and online betting, the game has changed, but the playbook hasn't. He calls it the oldest trick in the book, just dressed in modern tech. It's poker tables with X-ray scanners, referees under subtle pressure, players who fake injuries to manipulate betting odds. It's the same dance, just a shinier ballroom. Then he drops the line that sums up his entire message. Organized crime never left. It just learned how to hide better. He looks straight into the camera and says the thing no league executive wants to hear. If the NBA doesn't get ahead of this, it could lose the one thing that keeps fans coming back: integrity. Because once fans believe the game is fixed, it's over. If this ever turns into pro wrestling, Franzese warns, the magic dies. He points out how millions of fans don't even watch for teams anymore. They watch for bets. Same-day parlays, prop lines, over-unders. That's what keeps the TV numbers high. But the more gambling access players get, the deeper they'll fall into temptation. He says he's been preaching this since the 90s, when the NCAA first hired him to warn college athletes. Over 300 universities, Division I and II. Everywhere he went, the message was the same. If you gamble, you lose more than money. You lose control. Franzese says that even today, after every talk, he gets emails from players. Some still in school, some already pro, asking for help. They tell him about teammates who can't stop betting, who are getting approached by friends from the street. And when that happens, it's only a matter of time before they owe the wrong person the wrong kind of debt. He ends his breakdown not with rage, but with a heavy sigh. He's not shocked. He's disappointed, because he knows how this story ends. He's lived it. Gambling destroyed more men in my life than prison ever did, he says quietly, and most of them never saw it coming. So now the question isn't whether the NBA has a gambling problem. It's how deep the infection really goes, and how many names are about to fall with it. Michael Franzese's words cut through decades of silence to expose the truth. The line between legal betting and organized crime has never been thinner. And when athletes mix competition with addiction, the game itself becomes collateral damage. What do you think? Is this just the beginning of a much bigger scandal? Or a warning the league will finally listen to? Drop your thoughts down below. And if you believe in protecting the integrity of the game, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Because this story is far from over. This is Above the Rim TV, where the truth behind the spotlight always comes to light. So whether you're a fan, a player, or someone who just loves the sport, remember this moment, because this scandal isn't the end. It's just the start of a much bigger storm. The next question is, how many names haven't surfaced yet? How many careers are hanging by a thread, one bet away from destruction? The FBI says they're cleaning it up. Franzese says it'll never stop. And somewhere in between those two truths lies the real story of power, greed, and the price of silence. So what do you think? Is this just the tip of the iceberg, or the start of a reckoning that could shake professional sports to its core? Let us know what you believe down in the comments. We read every single one.